All right, folks, welcome to Retro Reload. This is episode 17. I'm Dash V.
I'm Red Blaze 57.
I'm Fighter Pilot or Jeremy.
And we got a special guest again today. This time it's...
Hi guys, I'm Erik Peabody, Viking guitar.
Awesome. So, our topics today, Red.
Okay, two topics today is shameless self-promotion and video game passion or addiction.
All right. I want to start out with the first one, because the first one's going to be potentially controversial, and I promised Erik before he came on the show that we wouldn't cover any controversial topics.
Perfect.
Want to cover the news real quick?
So, welcome, Tyler.
Hey.
So, our topic that we started off with was video games. Are they an addiction, or are they just a passion?
Hang on.
All right. While he's setting up, what are your thoughts on this, Red Blaze?
Just like anything can be an addiction. It just matters on just knowing, or if I don't know. It's just I had it before. I know what I was going to say before, but now it's just not.
Well, I'm going to go real quick.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you're holding back money to instead of getting food for yourself, you probably need to rethink stuff a bit. Like if you only have a few dollars left, and where it's like I can either get food for myself or a video game, and you go video game, you might have a problem.
All right. So before we go to the next person, though, right? I want to throw this out there because you mentioned that. I think that you're right, and I know exactly what you're driving at, but I've done this, and I'm wondering who else has done this. Skipped lunch so I could use the money that I would have spent on lunch to buy a video game.
Guilty.
Who's done it? Fess up.
Now, hold on. Are we talking about like when you're a kid and you have limited funds, or when you're an adult and you have a normal income and you're
Wide
still
open.
skipping meals?
Wide open, either.
Or you're like,
As a
friends
kid?
bring you out, you're like, no, I'm good, and spend that money you saved with your hanging out with your friends, go buy your game.
Well, as a kid, probably did, but I haven't as an adult ever since I got a paying job.
All right, Erik, I have a feeling you did as a kid.
No, I never did that ever, not once. Well, I remember as a kid, you don't get a lot of money as a kid, so saving up to buy a game was out of the question. But I definitely remember accumulating the money that was given to me for other purposes and amassing that to rent video games, which was still a thing when all of us were growing up. So.
Rental. That's the concept where you go into a store and they agree to let you borrow a game, but you pay by the day, right?
Yeah.
For all of our
that's
new,
kind of how it works. You
That-
pay for something, but you don't keep
That's
it.
still around though with Redbox.
Yeah.
Well,
Do they
have
do
lots
that with
of-
Does Redbox do games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I actually got a free code. It's either like lunchroom or break room in Redbox. You get a free one-day rental in the promo codes.
Nice. All right, so
It was
I
the only
actually
time I ever
have.
saw a physical copy of Far Cry Blood Dragon. That's the only time I've ever seen a physical copy of it.
So I actually have skipped lunches before to close out what I needed maybe to get a video game or something. Justified. Okay, I could go somewhere with the guys for lunch, and I know it's going to be about $20, or I could just go home with Ninja Gaiden 2. So I ended up going home with Ninja Gaiden 2. No regrets.
That's the right choice.
always the right choice. So Ryu Hayabusa approves, even if I probably just mispronounced his name.
Right? You. Either way.
So Red Bearded Gamer, what about you? Is it an addiction? Do you think of it like as an addiction, or do you think of it as like a passion, as a hobby, that kind of thing?
Well, for your normal average guys like us, it's a passion. That's definitely gonna be an addiction. If you look over in Korea, where guys go literally on 72-hour gaming binges at the local internet cafe, and they really like this year. 2 people have been found dead at internet cafes from gaming binges. So it really can be an addiction.
Yeah, I think that goes along with, so like the criteria that we have. This is pretty good because we're building the criteria, folks. If you're watching, addiction is a serious thing. You should get help, etc. So here's how you know if you're addicted to games. Then, right? If you're foregoing food to the extent that you look skinnier than me, right? That's probably a bad thing. You might have an addiction. If you can't leave, if you can't get up from the game, and you just have to play these, multiple day marathon sessions till your heart explodes, you're probably addicted to video games. Interesting question though with that. One of the things that I noticed is I have yet to hear a report of somebody who is sitting at home, having a marathon session of Mario Brothers and they died. But I've heard of a couple of gamers, like pro gamers, where like multiplayer games especially, they just play till they drop. So I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's possible that multiplayer games have a greater chance at being addictive than single-player games?
That's kind of hard because multiplayer is more popular, more modern. Because if I want to, I can easily go on a 3-day binge on Fallout 3, just rebeat the whole game. But it's just But
are you gonna forego sleep? Are you gonna not eat? Are you gonna not go to the bathroom?
I can't go more than 4 hours because my eyes are tired. And I logged cyber gaming in one session was 4 hours, and I thought that was ridiculous at the time.
Yeah, I do too, and I guess that's what I was getting at. I think, like for me, generally, I tend to veer away from multiplayer and like the online multiplayer. Not because I don't enjoy it, because I played a lot of it when I was in college. But what I noticed as an adult was my time is so unpredictable, and blocks of time are so unavailable. Either because I just don't have the time, or I choose not to set aside that much time for that kind of activity. That it like for me, like multiplayer is a guaranteed open-ended commitment. I don't know how good the other player is going to be. I don't know how long the game's going to drag on. I don't really know when it's going to be over. Versus, if I sit down for Ninja Gaiden, Blaster Master, even like a Street Fighter game, I pretty much know how long I can sink into it, and I can either pause or just exit the game when I'm done, and there's no harm done. I didn't suddenly fall off the top of the leaderboard, for example.
Yeah, with multiplayer stuff, there's this external, not pressure to keep going, but there's always this incentive to keep going with it. Even for a single-player thing, after a while, your body's going to get to a point where you need to go use the bathroom, you need to eat, you need to do something that's going to pull you away from it, at least for a bit. But if that doesn't coincide with everyone else you're playing with, and if the majority of the people are like, hey, let's just jump right back in, even if you're like, man, I really have to go do whatever, it's easier to just kind of acquiesce and go along with what's going on and kind of extend that session longer than you naturally would.
Yeah, I agree. And Facebook, right? I mean, anything social, I think, has the potential to do that. I mean, there's been nights I've stayed up way later because I was vigorously involved in a Facebook discussion with somebody when I should have been, catching up on my sleep or something. So,
work in the morning.
I know, right? It's like, Dash, dude, like, go to sleep. I have a life. The show is over. It ended like 4 hours ago. Stop talking.
Well, there's been times where I've just sat there and just look at what people have been writing on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think it's the unpredictability of it. I mean, single-player games, as much as I love single-player games because I have more control over how I consume the content, there is something to be said for it's the same game every time. It's very, very predictable versus a Facebook or Call of Duty or something like that. I mean, you don't know really what's going to happen. You could be totally owning, and then some new player comes in, and suddenly you're at the bottom trying to work your way back up to the top. So I think it's that unpredictable nature of it, that whole risk versus reward constantly changing, that I think leads to the addictive nature of multiplayer games in particular.
Yeah.
But Tyler, what are your thoughts regarding addiction or passion?
I don't know. I agree with pretty much everything that you just said. So.
Well, that makes it easy.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is I don't have the time that I used to, so I spend more time doing other stuff than gaming. So.
I have to say, that's one of the things that I really, most of my, even retro gaming has kind of moved on to. I still have, in fact, I've got it here, and we might be firing it up a little bit later. I still have my old NES toaster. I have my original Genesis. Well, I have actually my wife's original Genesis, but have a whole bunch of the original consoles. But I've really grown to love playing them on the Retron 5, mainly because better than, when I was a kid, it was hit pause, put something over the power light on the Nintendo, change the channel on the TV, and hope nobody notices until the next time I come back to play my game, right? Now you've got save states with the Retron 5. You can you can copy over your battery backup saves and go back and forth. So what's really cool is I can start out playing one of the games that Eric did a cover for, Super Metroid, right? I can start out playing this on my Retron 5, copy the save back onto, use save states on the Retron 5, but then actually go to a save point, save my game to the battery backup file on the Retron 5, copy that to the cartridge, take the cartridge, pop it in my, I don't think I have it here, pop it in the RDP, the portable version, SNES clone, and I could be, at the doctor's office or whatever, playing through another boss on Super Metroid, come back that evening, pop it back into the Retron 5, and keep going. So what's cool is I can kind of have like a marathon session if I'm really into one of my old school games, but I can kind of pick and choose when and how I want to play it. And sometimes I might even save a spot. Like if I know it's the spot where like one of the biggest screw-ups I made in this game was I didn't realize that there was a certain part, I'm brain dumping what the section is called, but it's basically just before you get to the last boss. You walk through the door, it locks behind you, and you're friggin' stuck. You can't go back.
Yeah. You're stuck in Torian with not enough missiles, and then you're done.
That is exactly what friggin' happened to me. So, fortunately, what I was able to do was I was able to take this out of the Retron 5, plug it into my original SNES with a Game Genie, and I did not use the Game Genie to cheat and give myself super missiles and all the extra stuff. The only cheat that I used was there was a cheat that you could use on the Game Genie that on the map screen would allow you to press the A button when you're on a certain section of the map, and it would take you to a save point within that section of the map. And then I saved back outside of Turian, and I went through and I played the whole rest of the game legit. Because I didn't want to... This game is a good enough game to not beat as a cheater. I wanted to beat it legit. I just didn't realize as I was exploring that that was one section I couldn't backtrack on. So, but it was really cool because I was able to use, I was able to play it kind of on my terms, which even a lot of modern day games kind of don't do that. It always blows me away when I play a newer game and there's like no save anywhere feature. There's no way to just pause and resume.
Plus, you probably made a reputation in the doctor's office as being the only guy playing a video game during a prostate exam, right?
Turn your head and, hey, wait a minute, is that... You're stuck in Turian? Oh, man, you should have saved before you went in there.
Yeah, he's pointing at your screen and stuff.
Thanks for the tip.
Oh.
All right. Put him... Anyway, you see what I did there. But so yeah, I'm a fan of the retro, but I'm also a fan of a lot of the newer ways that we have to do it, because that's one of the, I think, without a console like the Retron 5, what's really difficult about, not every game's like Super Metroid, right? This one was awesome. It had plenty of save spots. This game, another game that Eric covered.
Oh God.
This game was friggin', I know, oh God, right? This game was friggin' ridiculous hard once you got to like level 3 and up. No saves.
Yeah, I played that thing like crazy as a kid, and I only ever got to like level 4. I never beat it until I was an adult, and I had the option of using save states to like, you know what, I'll own up to it. I used them, I abused save states, but I needed to beat that game because I'd been playing it for 20 years, and I'd never seen the end of it.
I know. I did. I was kind of similar. Like, I got this when I was a kid, like a really young kid. I don't remember the age, but I didn't beat it until I was in college. I was supposed to be studying for a final, and instead I was like, damn it, I'm gonna beat this game because my class that's gonna be done tomorrow, but this game's gonna be forever. It's not what I thought. I don't know what I thought I was gonna do. Anyway, I just really wanted to beat it, and I didn't want to study, so that's what happened.
Yeah, I know the game I abused the save state system with was the Mega Man Zero games. Those are freaking hard, especially the last levels.
Nice. So, Eric, I want to bring it back.
Boy, I wouldn't have beaten them.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
If it wasn't for the Visual Boy, I wouldn't have beaten them, I think.
Yeah, I like emulators. The only thing that I don't, I guess the only thing that I don't really like about them is the inconsistent performance, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the game will play great, other times, same game, it might be like a major glitch fest. You upgrade the emulator, and then suddenly stuff that worked doesn't work anymore. And then the biggest thing that was bizarre to me was Game Genie support. So a Game Genie code that you can use in the emulator not working in an actual Game Genie on the actual game in the console. That was always frustrating to me. Because all the Game Genie codes now that you see, people don't distinguish. So they tried some Game Genie code in some emulator, and it worked great, so then they just listed on the whole list of codes, and now you're trying to play as Goro in Mortal Kombat, and it doesn't work, and you try for like half an hour only to find out, oh, it only works in the emulator. Nice, awesome.
Just bashing your head against that wall over and over.
Why? Why? Goro's supposed to live as me. But not quite. So, Eric, I wanted to ask you a question about Blaster Master. So that's an interesting tidbit that it wasn't until you were an adult that you beat it.
Oh, yeah.
When did you get back into it? Was it around the time that you put together your Blaster Master track?
You know, it's one of those games that I've always kind of been playing. Like, I enjoyed video games a lot as a kid, and I still do, but, as an adult you have less time to do it, and that wasn't a specific process, it slowly over time you have less and less time available, but Blaster Master was one of the ones that I would regularly play every few months or year or something. I'd just pick it up and play through it again. So, or not play through it, but play up to the point where I just throw the controller down and storm out of the house. It's kind of the reverse of what you said. The fact that I had been playing it for so long, when I decided to do an album of game remixes, that was one of the first ones that I wanted to have for that. In fact, I had recorded an earlier version of the song that appeared on the album, just as kind of a recording test and to try out some stuff. And then when I did the album, I'm like, all right, I'm going to redo that and try and spruce it up a bit. So
yeah.
It's always been in my mind. That first level, second level music has always been favorites of mine, and so it was right at the top of the list when it was time to do the album.
Nice. And now I know why. Now I know why it kind of, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about this album, Viking Guitar Live. So this one's Legion, I think.
Yes, Legion.
So, and it's actually shaped like or the artwork on it makes it kind of look like an NES game.
That's kind of cool.
Which is,
Motherbound.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So, he's also got some digital downloads and stuff of other things that they've done.
How much is it?
I don't know how much it is right now. Let me find out.
Like you're talking about, I was like, maybe I should go buy it.
Yeah, I'll be happy. If
I can, while he's looking up the prices, I can tell you that I can just read off the tracks that he's got on this one. And I heard him play these live at here in Rockage in San Jose back in, was it February, Eric?
Yes, February 7th?
I heard the title sequence music for Blaster Master playing on an electric guitar, and I just wove through the entire crowd till I found where it was coming from, and then I kept throwing my money at him. And he thought I wanted him to take his clothes off, but I just wanted a CD.
I was already halfway undressed, but,
yeah.
Sometimes you win.
Some all or none of that story I just told may be true.
Yeah. Anyway, down on my bottom third there, I've got a link to the Bandcamp where you can find that and other albums if you want. That one in particular, you can pick up a digital download for $2.50, and we still. I
think he's grabbing some physical media.
We have physical media. This is interesting because this exists in a three-dimensional object that you will pair. It's a physical pairing with another three-dimensional object, and it'll cause music to happen.
What I understand too is that music happens by the reflection of light.
Yes, it turns light into sound.
So you're listening to music at the speed of light.
I'll take 20.
Exactly. It's basically the most futuristic thing ever. It's a CD, is what they call it. So.
Actually, prefer.
But yeah, you can pick up. We still have some hard copies of that, but the digital ones are much.
How for the hard copy?
I'm sorry.
How for the hard copy?
6 plus shipping, and shipping kind of depends on where you are in the world.
He's in LA, so.
Oh, so like it's probably like $2 or $3 shipping. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's cheap. I'll tell you this though: since you're running the show, why don't you just talk to me after the show, and we'll figure that out.
I'll PayPal you right after the show.
So here's some of the. I'll read off some of the tracks for you from the physical copy. He's got My Sweet Sophia, which is Blaster Master. It's the intro music. It's levels 1, 2, and 3, which were the only ones he could beat as a kid. Oh, 1 and 2?
1 and 2.
Oh, okay. It's got another one called Balls, and that's from Super Castlevania 4.
Yep. Balls.mp3.
Yep. He's got of Rabbits and Robots from Cave Story. He's got Earthroot, which is music from Super Metroid.
Yeah, the Brinstar Red Soil area.
He's got Stainless Steel and Snare, which is from Secret of Mana. They Call Me Axe Battler from Golden Axe. From the Earth to the Moon from Cave Story, and then High Roller, which is from Marble Madness. On Bandcamp, he's got some other tunes and stuff though that you don't have on the physical Wonder, right?
Well, the way it works is there have been a few different album releases, and I had done a few albums just as a solo act with me doing all the recording and arranging, and you know, for drums and stuff, I programmed that since I don't play drums. But then for MagFest a couple years ago, I put together a live band, and to structure everything for a live setting, we rearranged some of the songs, and also just you know, you listen to something you've written 2 years ago, you get some ideas of how to redo it and kind of improve upon it. So the Legion album here is with the full band recording everything instead of just me multi-tracking.
Okay.
And so that's kind of why there's some stuff that isn't on this that's on the other ones, and vice versa too. This one had a couple of arrangements from some of the other people in the band, like Grant Henry, Stemage from Metroid Metal is one of the other guitarists in Viking Guitar Live, and like the Marble Madness track was arranged by him. The Secret of Mana track was arranged by our bassist at the time, Travis Morgan, and our drummer, Adam Henry. So this is kind of like almost a greatest hits sort of thing for everyone involved in the live project, and that's why we called it Legion, after the biblical reference of
many.
We are many, we are legion. You know, we play video game music, but we're all metalheads, and you know, heavy metal always has that whole association with the dark, evil stuff, and so it just all meshed together.
Yeah. So some of the other stuff that you'll see him on Bandcamp is he's got a cover of Ghouls and Ghosts, and it's a relatively give him your take on the Ghouls and Ghosts cover. It's not just a straight cover.
No, it's surf rock. It's like something you'd hear from Dick Dale or like the Mermen or something like that. Because you know, I don't know, surf music shares a lot with thrash metal just in terms of some of the intensity and the playing technique, and you know, they back in the 50s and 60s when surfing was like a new big thing for the country. You know, there were also a lot of those like B sci-fi movies, and there's kind of a correlation between the two. The game Zombies Ate My Neighbors played around with a lot of that sort of 50s sci-fi horror stuff, and I figured if it works for the tune, why not? So level 1 music from Ghosts and Goblins turned into a surf rock song.
Yeah, and you know what? I will admit, I will admit, when I first saw the track like come up on my car, I'm like, this is probably gonna be a throwaway one. But then it totally worked. I was laughing. I'm like, wow, like I can't believe this totally works. It sounds like that's the way that it should be. You mentioned Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You actually have a cover of one of those songs too, right?
Do you have a cartridge for every game we're talking about?
almost every game. He also did Sweep the Leg for Super Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He
yeah,
did
the Zombies
I already showed. He did Blaster Master.
Yeah.
And then my personal favorite, he did also Ninja Gaiden 2.
Yes.
So, and you picked some really awesome tracks from this to do. He did the opening sequence music. He did the boss music, which for me, like in a video game, Ninja Gaiden 2, which is actually a remix of the tune from Ninja Gaiden 1. It has some of the most epic boss music that I've heard in an 8-bit game.
Yeah, it's very aggressive and very discordant in a really kind of menacing way. But yeah.
Yeah, and then lastly, he never did a cover of this game.
DuckTales 2.
And the reason he never did a cover of this game is because as expensive as this game is right now, and as great of a game as it is, the music, unlike the first game, is totally forgettable.
And all you need is a theme song.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want any sort of DuckTales cover, you can look up a band called the Mini Bosses and watch them do like a 18-minute rendition of it, and have more than enough DuckTales remix goodness.
But what about Darkwing Duck?
You know, there's only so much time in the day, my friend.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, I've been looking over like all the stuff you have, and I'm impressed that there's something from Evil Dead the Musical.
Yeah, you know, so that one in particular, that wasn't me specifically. Those Danse Macabre albums. So I love horror stuff, you know, horror movies, horror video games, all that, and I love Halloween. And so a few years back, I started putting together this Halloween compilation because I wanted to celebrate Halloween, but I wanted to get a bunch of people involved. So those Danse Macabre albums, each one, it's a bunch of different artists contributing their renditions of horror-themed movie and video game music. So that one, the one with, is it all of the men I know were killed by Kandarian demons or something like that? That was, once again, done by Stemage of Metroid Metal. He and a few of his friends got together and did that, and it's a show tune from a Broadway show. So,
yeah,
you know, but if it works, it works. If it's fun to do, and if at least a few people enjoy it, and once again, if it doesn't go into the addiction realm where you're like, you know, if you're working on your cover of a Broadway horror tune instead of, you know, feeding your family or something, then you have a problem. But otherwise, if it's fun and people enjoy it, why not? You know, it doesn't matter if it's Broadway or surf or, you know, K-pop or whatever. You know, if it's fun, it's fun.
Or fighting ghouls and goblins while you surf.
Exactly. Which is easier to do because they can't swim.
All right.
Eric, can we see your T-shirt real quick?
I'm sorry?
Can we see your T-shirt real quick?
Yes. 100%, baby. Yeah. I got this once again. Another shout out to the last bassist for Viking Guitar Live. Travis Morgan gave me this, and Travis, thank you. I enjoy it constantly.
So have you, even just like knocking around, have you ever, just for the hell of it, tried doing any of the Doom music?
A little bit. Like I haven't tried to learn it in a while. I had a plan to do a Viking guitar album that was going to just be called Guns, and it was going to have a bunch of first-person shooter music on there, and that idea has kind of gone to a back burner and is honestly probably not going to happen at this point just because of other musical obligations.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's hard to play. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that have done really good renditions of it and that can play it flawlessly. They are better musicians than I am, so it's hard to play.
They probably just put more time into those particular songs, right?
Thank you for pandering to my ego, and yes, that's what happened.
I have to do that because before the show started, he actually, Eric, you might as well go ahead and throw it down on the show. Eric issued me a throwdown before the show.
Yeah, you might not know this looking at Dash, but he really loves Ninja Gaiden 2. He's been talking about it all throughout leading up to the show here, and when I find someone that really loves something as much as Dash loves Ninja Gaiden 2, it inspires in me this really sincere, heartfelt desire to crush that. So I called him out. I told him that at some point we need to race through that game side by side and see who beats it first. And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, you haven't agreed to the challenge yet.
We can definitely do it. The only question I guess I would have is for when we stream that. Are we going to stream that from my house or yours?
I think you got the better setup for it, so let's do yours. You're close by.
Because we have to be in the same spot because I want to make sure that any jabs or jekylls don't get lost in the encoding stream. I want to be able to, if you're insulting me and everything, you know, I want to be able to hear it, and I want you to hear mine.
I appreciate that. You know, I mean, the other thing too is it wouldn't be fair to make you drive all the way home after losing. So
yeah, there is that. Yeah, there is that. So hey, these guys know, right? I go into these things with like super humility. Anybody that watched the show last week, I got my ass handed to me by a bass guitarist who had just picked up Mario Kart 8 like that day. First time ever racing on that track. I placed 12th and they got 4th. So. I got no shame at this point. So that was Aaron Keeley of Curious Quail kicked my butt. So
Richard Reloku is 0-1 in challenges.
I should have known, right? Anybody that can learn to play bass guitar in like 5 days, don't challenge them to video games. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, nothing with hand-eye coordination.
Hey, as a techno geek, right? Video games are supposed to be my last bastion of glory, right?
Yeah. Well, watch after I'm talking such a big game about Ninja Gaiden 2, we'll finally meet up, and I'll still be like fighting against the wind and rain in level 2 when you're beating the demon at the end. So
we could do Ninja Gaiden 2, but win, lose, or draw, we have to do a Blaster Master one as well.
I don't know if I can bring up enough food to last through that whole thing, man.
All right. We do have one more topic, right, Red?
Yes, and we're kind of covering it right now. It's shameless self-promotion.
Oh, hey!
Shameless plug.
So, Tyler, you've got a project that you're working on, right? That's going to be, it's still in the works. Do you have anything existing, or you just want to talk about the one you have in the works?
I don't have anything filmed yet. I'm still trying to find people to send me games to fix.
All right, so you got it. Tyler needs you to send him broken games so that he can fix them.
Yeah, I was going to work on the battery replacement, but all mine work, so I need something that doesn't work, basically.
Yes. He would especially like to get non-working copies of Super Metroid, Mario All-Stars. DuckTales 2 doesn't have a save feature, but he'll see what he can do.
Yeah, send him anyway.
Yeah, why not? But, so yeah, I don't have anything, like, actually filmed yet, but I built the camera rig and everything, so that's all set up.
Great.
I just need something to work on.
Yeah, and we're open to, the way I understand it, you're also open to folks' ideas about what kind of repairs or mods they want to see, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I can do it, yeah. I mean, I'll do whatever. I mean, I'm starting off with the stuff that I know I can do, the stuff I have done. I don't want to, film me screwing something up. So.
Can you come up with a mechanism that could bounce light off the surface of this disc and transform it into sound?
It's not possible.
I don't think so.
All right. Red Blaze, how about you? You got anything going on extracurricular?
Just kind of trying to help a little bit with Tyler's stuff, but other than
Yes,
that,
that's right.
yeah, I've got a few things that I'm gonna also record for that. And,
Great.
well, other than that, I'm just kind of throwing ideas around in my head. I don't really know what to do with my own channel. Got a couple of videos up on there, but
Talk to
other
us
than
about
that,
your channel. What kind of videos you got going on there so far?
I just got my VG Collect Christmas video and one that was pickups from last year. Other than
Nice.
that, just
Here.
that's gonna be
Record yourself.
But that was the stuff I sent you.
yeah.
So, Red, you've got a Twitch account, right? And periodically you stream some of your gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Me? Oh.
Basically,
Like Bear
same name,
Gamer.
just twitch.tv in the front of it.
Oh, you have one too? You have a Twitch account too?
For me?
Red Blaze.
GTA, remember that one time?
Wait, I saw you were talking to me.
I thought he was talking to you too.
The problem is Fighter Pilot. We're going to have you go by the name Fighter Pilot when you're on the show.
Alright, I'll switch it.
You're confusing East Coast. It's like the worlds collide.
Too much red. All
Yes.
we see is red.
So Red Blaze though, you said you have a Twitch account? I didn't know that.
Yeah, most of the stuff if I ever do stream, it's PS4 because built right in. And where I want to get into other streaming, I just need to get an actual decent capture card.
Ah, okay.
I bought
Pretty
one.
cool. I didn't know that you had a Twitch account.
Yeah, no, I bought a capture card only to find out that it only records at 480p, though for some reason it bypasses 1080p.
Awesome. So you can show us like DuckTales remastered in HD and SD.
Yeah, side by side.
It's like a re-retro of a remaster.
I mean, I can show you Resident Evil 4. That's about it.
Nice. I do wanna point out that like none of us in our gaming addiction or passion made a comment like, if your walls are lined with games, it's
Flea.
probably an addiction.
Oh, you'd be like the Flea?
Oh yeah, that guy's like insane, right? It's like it's all over, right? It's more like a cavern of games than a room.
Walls, drapes, some of them end up on the ceiling. Those are the overachievers.
I know. Although every now and then I'll get super surprised because like a collection that huge, and then like because I follow him when he like adds on Eric. There's a web page that we love. It's VG Collect,
Mm-hmm.
and you know you use it when you dial collect, and you can save the people you call up to 44%. No, I'm just kidding.
It just
Right.
says a minute after 20.
There's a blast from the past for you.
Yeah.
No, VG Collect, you can catalog all the games that you have in your collection by system and by region.
Oh, okay.
And then you can also create like a wish list and a sell list. So if there's stuff that like dupes that you're trying to get rid of, you can put them in the sell list. If there's ones that you still want to remember to get, if you're like me and you're like, you have almost like everything, but there's still one or two games that you're missing. It's good to catalog them there, so you don't end up leaving with like a 5th copy of Mario Brothers while you passed up the Mega Man 3 that you've been missing for like years.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. I have a copy of Castlevania Dracula X for Super Nintendo, which is a terrible game, but apparently pretty rare. And I'd love to swap that for something I'd actually enjoy playing.
Yeah. VG Collect is definitely a great community. Right now, Red Blaze is scrolling through his collection, and you can kind of see, you can specify whether or not you have the cart, whether or not you have the box, the manual. You can also put in special notes, so if you know that, like, if you're pedantic and you know, okay, I have the manual for this one, but it's kind of torn, right? You can kind of make a note in there. They support every single platform that you can think of, both the, in every region. So Famicom as well as Nintendo, Super Famicom as well as Super Nintendo. They got a section in there for swag, magazines.
Hey, speaking of which, quick aside on that, I wasn't aware of this until today, but they're, I'm sure you guys know about this, they're reissuing the Zelda Link to the Past comics from Nintendo Power as like a bound single volume. Did you guys hear about that? Yeah, I'm stoked about that, man. I remember reading that.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty cool.
I don't know. It was just a cool thing. I'm a little worried because it might do that thing where I really enjoyed it as a kid, and then I read it as an adult, and I'm just sometimes you do that with a movie or a game or a book, and you're like kind of embarrassed for yourself. But I don't think so. I'm holding out hope on this one. So.
When is that supposed to come out?
I want to say May or June. Soon, very soon. Hey, Red Blaze might know.
Actually, I can look it up right now. I got it. Let's see.
Awesome. While he's looking it up, where you all have ADD, so while he's looking it up, he'll get back to us. Fighter Pilot, I cut you off, but you have a Twitch channel, right?
I don't really use it. Yeah, I do. I stream my PS4 sometimes. It's under 55562, but I really stream. But
I think you recorded a video of a car being inside of your house and then a dude being frozen on the john while you snapped a picture with your cell phone.
Yeah, he like glitched on me, and I mashed my car in the garage or in the house. Oh, that's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the release date. May 5th, so very close.
Yeah, a week.
Yeah, and it's only $14 right now.
Not bad at all.
Oh wow, that's not bad. Now is it $14 and it's the whole compilation, or are they doing them individually?
As far as I know, the whole compilation.
Yeah, it's all collected and bound in like a, another physical medium thing, a book.
I hope that they bring back
one of these.
Yes, one of those.
This actually happens to be the Link to the Past manga.
Okay.
I hope that they bring the Super Metroid, or not the Super Metroid, but I hope they bring the Metroid manga to the U.S. fully translated.
I heard that's not as good.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through it. I've been reading it online and stuff. It's like a fan translation. So here's how I would say it. Like it's an origin story. It's an origin comic, and I have to admit, as somebody that's been like a Metroid fan for a long, long time, it's kind of a very weird, bizarre origin story. It's a lot more fantasy than sci-fi, which was not quite what I expected. But I'm still holding out that I don't know how much of certainly the fantasy elements of it have nothing to do with the translation, but I think the storytelling and the dialogue, it's really hard to judge when you're looking at a fan's translation of it and not a really truly localized and professionally translated piece. No offense to whoever's done the translation and stuff. Thank you, appreciate it. But usually it's more than just the translation, right? There's things that they do to make it more relevant to the culture that it's translated for.
It depends on the translator.
Yeah. So I guess I'm saying I would prefer to reserve judgment until I saw somebody that Nintendo had sanctioned and approved doing the actual official translation, and then maybe it's still just as strange, or maybe things make sense in context.
Yeah. Anyways, definitely, if you're into this stuff, get the Legend of Zelda ones. They are really good.
Okay.
Nice. Does Nestor appear in any of them?
No.
Howard and Nestor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Howard and Nestor in there?
Nah.
Those are from a day gone by, my friend.
All right. So Fighter Pilot, you didn't, besides the Twitch channel, nothing else going on?
Well, if you really love me or want me after the show, send me some ammo and say if you love me, because I got guns and I'm low on ammo.
We were going to have some folks on from East Coast. A bunch of the East Coasters have other channels and stuff. I know Bad Chaos has a channel. I know Foxshot has a channel. I think also Cashel. Right? I think Cashel has a channel too.
Yeah, they might cover it on Thursday.
Yeah, I also have a channel. My channel is -B Productions. If you spell it all out, DASHB Productions. I've done a couple of things. Most of the stuff that you're going to see, if you're looking for like real serious stuff, you have to see stuff that I worked on with other people. When I have my own spare time, my own free time, I like to fill it with silly and fun projects, just me and my son. So, video game related, we did our own spoof slash homage to Portal 2. So if you look up Portal 2 by Dash V Productions, the 2 is spelled out T-O-O.
Okay.
It's basically my son wants to play Portal 2, and I'm busy playing it, so I won't let him play. So he ends up building his own portal gun, and it actually works. And you'll have to see the rest of the skit to find out how that plays out. Another video that we did, played in a couple theaters, was Free Lemonade. Average guy just walking around town on a hot day, stumbles by a kid selling lemonade from a lemonade stand. Kid seems pretty nice. He's giving the lemonade away free, but nothing in life is free. So, again, if you want to find out where that leads, you can check that out. So, a couple other things that I did, like more serious projects that I did. I worked on a web series, Super Knocked Up. If you go to
Not normal knocked up, super knocked up.
Super Knocked Up. I promise it's not a porno. You can find out for yourself, though. Don't take my word for it.
I promise it's not a porno. You can find out for yourself.
Yeah, find out for yourself. It is PG-13 because of language. There is some innuendo. Obviously, it wouldn't be called Super Knocked Up without at least innuendo. But it's a lighthearted comedy about a superhero and a supervillain have a one-night stand, and the supervillain ends up carrying the superhero's baby. So,
Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah, so in the evening, they're beating the crap out of each other because they're arch enemies, and by day they're trying to, like, you know, cover up the fact that they're living in the same apartment, trying to, you know, raise this kid. So, yep. So another project that I'm working on also has a very provocative name. It's Bumpin' Uglies. I swear it's not a porno. But I'll put a link to it down below after the show, and you guys can check it out if you want to check out the trailer. I'm working color correction on that one. It's still a ways from being finished. We're doing some stuff. All the shooting is done and all the editing is done, but we're still working on some of the post-production and everything. That one will probably go to some film festivals and that kind of thing. But so yeah, in general, I love film and everything about it, almost as much as I love video games. So when I'm not, usually when I mentioned earlier about choosing not to do games because I'm choosing to do other things, I certainly love being able to enjoy other people's creativity, whether it's music, a game, you know, a movie. But nothing beats just sitting down and making something from scratch with your own bare hands. That's pretty awesome. So, and from what I understand, Eric, this was really interesting to me when we talked before the show. Your band members are all over the U.S., right?
That is correct.
Explain to me how that works, how all these different people put together an album.
We all have really long arms. So basically it's the internet. It facilitates it. It makes it possible. Each one of us individually has a good amount of experience with audio recording, and we all have our own audio production projects going on. I mean, I've mentioned this a few times, but you know, Grant Henry, if you guys have heard of Metroid Metal, you know, is part of the group, and he, in my opinion, was kind of one of the progenitors of really doing high-quality video game remix stuff, and you know, kind of one of the main skills involved in that is knowing how to do everything on a shoestring budget with minimal equipment and still have it sound good. So anyway, we're all in 5 different places. You know, I'm in Santa Cruz, California. Grant is just a town over from me, but his brother is our drummer, and he lives out in North Carolina. Our other guitarist, Mega Beardo, lives in West Virginia, and our previous bassist, Travis Morgan, lived in right around Albany, New York area, and he's actually left the group at this point to focus on some other projects, and we wish him the best, and we have a new bassist who is yet unrevealed, but he also lives away from.
New challenger.
I'm sorry.
A new challenger has entered.
A new challenger has entered, and this is a very capable challenger. But anyway, so I'll set up the master session and just do scratch tracks where I'll play everyone's part. You know, not perfectly, but enough so they can learn it. Then they'll record it, add their own personal flavor to it, send me the files. I'll put it together and do all the final production, and it's like that. It's not too hard. It's like it's just like a correspondence thing, you know. But it works. It's a little slow, but it works.
That's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. I know a lot of you know, a lot of times bands, even like when they have proximity, they can have trouble sometimes kind of keeping everything together. So it's impressive that you're able to keep everything together without being so dispersed all over the place.
Yeah. Well, you know, it all comes down to personality, you know, and I mean, I've been a musician for like 17 years now, and I've played in a lot of different bands and been involved in a lot of different musical projects, and the unfortunate reality is that musicians, as at least semi-creative people, there's kind of a high rate of musicians that aren't super responsible or have some other character trait that makes it difficult to stay productive. And the good thing is that when you're not picking musicians to form a band from just in your local geographic area, when you're picking them from the entire country, you have a lot more opportunity to pick people that really interact in the same way that you do and that match you personality-wise. And so I was able to find a bunch of people that you know, don't have crippling drug addictions and aren't running from the police or anything like that, you know, which are all things that you encounter with musicians when you're dealing on a local scale. So any success we have in creating anything really comes down to the fact that the people involved, not including myself, but the other people are talented, responsible people that know what they're doing, and you know, they're not going to show up drunk to a band practice, or they're not going to show up and be like, oh, I had to sell my guitar, I hope you brought an extra one that I can play. There's none of that BS. Yeah. So it makes it a lot easier than you might think it would be.
And it sounds like too, like another way that it might be easier is not having, almost like what I was talking about earlier, where you take something kind of, you have multiplayer, right, which would be everybody getting together, like, okay, everybody meet at my house at 8 o'clock, you know, I'll get the pizza and beer, and then maybe there's more eating pizza and drinking beer than there is making music.
Exactly.
Versus a, hey, I got 2 hours, I'm going to listen to the scratch track, I'm going to try to bang out at least, you know, a rough cut, and then you get into the zone and you get it done. Meanwhile, somebody else, maybe 2 days later, is having the same thing happen for their part, and then you can kind of pull them all together.
Yeah. And, you know, we're all, the other nice thing is that we're all adults now, you know, I mean, we're all in our 30s and so forth, and, you know, when you're 19 and you're putting a band together, you know, it's a lot easier to have someone show up and just not care about it, you know, but we're all adults, we hold professional jobs to, you know, some extent, and we're used to interacting in a more streamlined, efficient, you know, business-like environment, and so it's easy for us to kind of slip into that mode when we're handling all the logistics stuff, you know, and then when we show up and when we all get a chance to meet up and play at MagFest or something, you know, we can cut loose and, you know, we can be monsters and, you know, go crazy as much as we want to, but we have that established baseline of, you know, of the functionality of how the band needs to operate, and that makes it much easier.
Great.
So yeah.
I see that we've got about 4 minutes left, so one of the things that I wanted to try, I'm not sure if we should lay the soundtrack over it or not, because the only way I have to play your music is to play it through my speakers, which will sound it won't do justice to your music, but
we can do this however you think is best, man.
So what I want to do, guys, is I want to show the opening sequence of Ninja Gaiden 2. Only I wanted to have two of us read the subtitles. There's two main characters in the opening sequence. One is Eric, say it, because I'm going to say it wrong.
Ashtar. Ashtar is the baddie in this one, and then one of his henchmen.
Okay, so we've got Ashtar, and then we also have I thought it was Jaquio or Jaquo or
They're talking about this Jacquo.
the Jacquo. There we go. The Jacquo, right?
Yeah, he's
talking
not
about
present, but he's referred to. Yeah.
So Detective Clouseau they're talking about, and then they have the messenger. So I want to let you guys pick like who do you want to play which part, the villain, and then the messenger to the boy to the villain, and how do you want them to play it? And then I was gonna actually pop this into my NES, screen share the opening sequence, and turn the music and the sound off, and we will just totally like Mystery Science 3 theater it.
I'm game. No pun intended.
I see what you did there.
Ah.
All right. So, fighter pilot, Pugmire, Red Blaze. Who do you want to be the villain? It could be any of us.
Well, since Viking has a rockin' beard, I think he should be villain.
There we go. All right.
I can
so,
do that.
all right, you'll be the villain. Who should be the messenger boy?
Dash.
You.
I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it. I set myself up for it. All right. Now, how do you want him to play the villain? Do you want him to use any kind of accent? Do you want him to follow any kind of stereotype?
Like you see on like old cartoons.
You want him to do like Shredder Ninja Turtles type villain?
Yeah. Or from the Smurfs, Gargamel.
I don't even know if I remember what Gargamel sounds like at this point.
I can those Smurfs.
There we go. I just heard it.
Oh,
So-
it sounds like you just bought yourself the part of the villain, my friend.
No. That's the only one I could do. Unless I say those Smurfs for like every line, it won't work.
It's like a deep.
We need Mr. Nikon for this.
We do. We need Mr. Nikon to do his crappy Sean Connery. Right? I was hoping that he'd be on the show tonight so that we could pick him and have him do crappy Sean Connery, but he's not here, so he dodged that bullet. We'll make him sing something to Casual next episode as his penance. All right, so I guess Eric, you're gonna be the villain, and you're gonna be voicing it as if you were Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon.
Sounds good. And,
All right, now
you're in luck because I've got a full effects suite here for my mic, so we can dial some stuff in here.
nice.
How's this?
There we go. There we go. All right, how do you want the messenger boy to deliver his speech?
High and squirrely.
Hi, and squirrely like the guy from The Simpsons?
Squeaky voice team.
Well, I'd like to see that.
That's perfect.
No, you know what? Like Herbert from Family Guy.
Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah, perfect.
With the whistling?
Yeah.
oh, I don't know that guy. I haven't seen that show.
What?
Oh,
Guy?
I haven't seen Family Guy. Sorry.
I think high and squirrely is good.
Yeah, high and squirrely.
Yeah, just, take it as high as you can, and then a little bit higher.
Make sure that people like have to yank the earphones out of their ears when they hear this part.
Yeah,
That's headphone users.
All right. So I think, all right, we're gonna. Should we do a dry run first, just to see what it sounds like without the music, or should we just try it all with the music and everything?
I say go big or go home.
Go big or go home. All right. Here we go.
Hey, while he's setting up, for one shout out, just you know what, Turf. His channel, Turf 12 to 18.
Oh, yeah, Swerve.
Yeah, definitely check it out. He's one of the guys on VG Collect, and he's entertaining in his videos.
Yes. Great guy. Hopefully you're gonna see him on the show soon.
Yeah, I heard he wanted to join in.
Thing, it's Silent Hill is canceled, so if you haven't downloaded the PT demo yet, do it now because they're gonna take it off the PS4.
I know. I think today's the last day you can download it.
What is PT? Everybody keeps talking about it.
Playable teaser.
Silent Hill is pretty creepy. I played it. I don't care for it. It's, I think Eric
It
would like
stands for playable trailer.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I didn't know what it was either. I had to Google it. I'm like, why is everybody like so upset that post-traumatic stress is leaving PlayStation?
It's time.
It's definitely creepy. And
I
now
thought,
really
I
want
thought
to-
what they were talking about was Ninja Gaiden Sigma being pulled from the store. But because that game certainly gave me PT. All right.
This little guy right here.
Yes, that guy right there. Hold it up again. That game is a jerk.
Or are you talking about the sequel?
Both. I don't have those actually for the PS3. I have those both for the Xbox because the original Ninja Gaiden,
not even playing
one of them you can unlock, I think, the arcade game, and on the other one you can unlock the Ninja Gaiden trilogy.
Huh.
So
Yeah, I mean, the Sigma series is a lot tougher than the actual ones.
right. Let me know if you can see my.
You
Oops.
should lock your screen.
Hang on a second.
See a sound.
I'm gonna do screen share. I have to accidentally click every button that's not the one before I get to the correct button.
That's how it goes.
That's how you use Google Plus.
There we go.
All right,
Oh.
come on.
You done?
All right, so I'm going to fire up. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear your. The only thing is, if I play the music, Eric, I'm not. I don't think we're going to be able to hear you.
Yeah, you know, it's people know where to find the music. I think it would be more fun to just go through and do the voices, and then we can link to the music afterwards if you want.
Yeah, why don't we do that? In fact, what I'll do is I'll do a re-edit of just this segment of the live broadcast, and in that re-edit, I'll put in the music underneath. So let's just like
Yes, that.
our live
Studio
depended on it.
magic.
Here we go. This is Ninja Gaiden 2 opening scene. I have the sound off so we can dub over it.
Oh, click it. Make sure that it stays on the retro reload.
Oh, okay, hang on. Wait, do we have a... Hang on.
Oh.
Oh my god.
False start. Still first down.
But we were so close.
We were so close. All right. So here we go. The other thing too is, guys, feel free to poke fun in between. This is kind of something of a free for all. All right, we're gonna try this again. Tecmo 1990 presents Ninja Gaiden 2. Jacques has been defeated.
Just as I thought. What about the ninja?
Ah, he knows nothing yet, sir.
Good. Continue the plan.
Oh, what should we do about the Ninja Dragon, sire?
Nothing. No further need for him. At least, not for now. Follow the plan exactly. Now go!
Yes, sire.
The time shall come when the gate of darkness is cast open. All men shall kneel before me. All shall hail me, Ashtar, as their new master.
One year after the fateful battle
That
of
was great.
I totally forgot this was the part.
a new adventure begins for Ryu Hayabusa, the ninja. Something of I couldn't read it fast enough.
Ninja Gaiden 2, Episode 2, Electric Boogaloo.
All right.
Overclap.
So we're gonna have after the show. I'm gonna take that whole piece, cut it out, and I'm gonna put in your cover of Ninja Gaiden 2 opening sequence, and it is going to sound hilarious / epic.
Hey, just be sure to color correct it, okay? For God's sakes.
I know, right? Actually, it's 8-bit, right? So I think it's already like locked in those lyrics.
Yeah.
So, folks, it is 9:38. We're at time. This has been Retro Reload, episode 17. Stay tuned for shortly, within the next day or two. We'll be posting a mini clip of the read-through that we just did of the Ninja Gaiden 2 opening sequence, where we'll actually lay down a track from Erik Peabody, so you can check out some of his music. Also, check him out on Bandcamp. His tunes are really, really awesome, and they're great music to listen to when you're stuck on the 101, the 85, the 87, or any other horrible highway in California. So,
Thank you guys for having me. It's been fun to chat with everyone.
It was a pleasure.
You too.
Yeah.